Good morning. This is Daniel Sansang on the Student Success channel I've created. What I want to talk about this morning and the question I want to ask is, do we learn more when we make a B? Do we learn more when we make a grade that's not perfect? In the first week of my PhD experience in graduate school, I kind of froze up. I kind of locked up. And ultimately what I realized was that I had a perfect 4.0 for my master's degree. I never made anything but an A for 36 hours. And that was really, in some ways, the worst thing that could have happened to me, because I entered my PhD program thinking that I had to make A's all the time. That's all I can do ever again for the rest of my life. And that's the wrong way to think about it. And I already had a discussion with my advisor. A B is perfectly fine if we make a B now and then. In fact, about half A's and half B's is a 3.5, which is perfectly fine. Employers will tell you that for master's degrees and PhDs, they don't necessarily look at the GPA. Did you finish it? What did you do? What did you do with it? So this question, do we learn more when we make a B? I think that it's often true. I know that some of the classes that I didn't have a perfect grade in, I learned more in those classes as an undergrad and as a graduate student than I did when I made an A. I got lucky and made an A, but I probably didn't take as many risks, and I probably didn't create the same kind of learning that I did when I made a B or a B plus or an A minus or whatever the grade was. In fact, when I was an undergraduate, I was an English major at Trinity University in San Antonio, and I was in a seminar class on Melville and Hawthorne, and I was doing pretty well in the class, I thought. I had an A on my midterm paper, and then I completed my final project for that class. It was 9.5 pages, and the requirement was 10 to 15 pages. And when I got my grade for the course, I had an F in the course, which was a bit of a shock to me. But in a way, I was proud of that grade because I worked harder for that class than I did for a lot of the A's that I made. It may not make a lot of sense to you at the moment. You might find that horrific. I didn't challenge the grade. I just accepted it and moved on with my life. But I learned a lot in that class. Ironically, one of the things I learned, Moby Dick is about not embracing absolutes, and giving somebody an F for 9.5 pages when it's supposed to be 10 to 15 is an absolute. And I try not to be that instructor. So in a lot of ways, I learned more when I made an F than when I made a good grade. But this is the question for students that I have, whether they are graduate students, undergraduates, wherever you're at. If you learn more when you make a B, isn't it okay to have some Bs? Especially when the foundation that you're building there is going to help you be successful later on. It's great to graduate with a perfect GPA, but we know percentage-wise that's not going to happen very often. So ask yourself, as you're going into your classes, what should your first goal be? Should your first goal be to make at least a B and to learn a lot? Those are more reasonable goals than thinking that you always have to have A's. If you wind up in that situation, you may luck up like I did in week 1 this fall and not be as successful. So do we learn more when we make a B? Absolutely. Sometimes we do. Thanks, and feel free to subscribe to my Student Success channel.